All right, everybody. My name's Ross Kramer. I'm the co-founder of ListTrack. We've got a great panel for you today talking about growth oxygen for your Magento extension. We've got a great panel today. I want to introduce who they are. This is, to my left, Sean Fisher. He's the Director of E-commerce at Signature Hardware. So welcome, Sean. Alex Cranmer is here. If this guy looks familiar from you, he's from the show Family Guns on the National Geographic Channel. So welcome, Alex. And Darren Johnson is here. He's the Director of E-commerce at Lovesac. And so what I wanted to do is I wanted to bring three customers together. ListTrack is our roots in email marketing. We've been a traditional email service provider for many years, although we've got some new omni-channel solutions that we want to talk about today. So we've got a couple of tips that we want to bring to you. You know, for me, I have visited face-to-face with scads of customers this year, and the two common themes that those customers really told me were, Ross, we've got a small team. How about you guys? You guys have small teams? Yeah? And the other thing was, they said, give me some ideas for how to grow the business. Management wants us to grow the business. Same for you guys, right? Except if you are management, then you guys are kind of carrying that story. So what we wanted to do was sort of bring you guys some ideas for how to build growth on the Magento platform and really how to power growth forward, double your revenue. So we wanted to kick it off. One of the best ROI things that you guys can do is implement one of these things that we call a modal pop-up or a lightbox acquisition. Darren, this is your slide here. How has this thing impacted your company?
Yeah, this has been this is one of the big things that we got with ListTrack when we first signed up. Over 90% of all email signups come through this modal window that pops up when visitors come to the site. It's been very effective for us. Our list growth has been about 23% over the last year, and it's mostly attributed to this.
So Sean, here's yours.
Yeah. We started with ListTrack about a year and a half ago, had not done modal pop-ups before then, and the pace of our email sign-up was pretty paltry. We saw it take off almost immediately after putting the pop-up modal on. One of our concerns, as it always is this going to affect conversion rate? So we did some testing around that, and I'm very happy to say that we were able to grow and have been steadily growing without affecting conversion rate at all.
I think the two takeaways here from both of these examples are they're both non-promotional. So sometimes you guys might be thinking, hey, do we have to give a promotion? Both Darren and Sean here have been able to grow their email list in the mid-20s by being non-promotional. But if you do decide to do a promotion, that works well as well. Alex, what's your experience been?
We live and die on our email newsletters. We send them twice a month. And for us, our customers are, because we're a niche business, they're really usually engaged in what we do. So by giving them a 5% off discount just for the first time that they buy, and we actually, when we implemented this, I wasn't a ListTrack client at this point last year. I sat in the audience like you. We let the current customers also get that 5%. Our email list grows 2.5% a month. We're netting almost 2,000 new subscribers a month, and so my company has 12 employees, and our lists are almost 75,000, and it has been tremendous for us. And
so these modals, whether you love them or as a consumer or you hate them as a consumer, they've really been transformational for some of our small brands in building their lists. When we look at the sort of total pie, sort of attribution pie for retailers, for performing retailers, we've really found that there's an opportunity, that the opportunity for email marketing should be around the 20% mark. That's really the low water mark that you all should be looking at when you go back and you look at your Google Analytics and you go into e-commerce and you go into revenue attribution and you look at the pie from natural search to paid search to affiliates to social media. Your email marketing attribution should be no less than 20%. For the guys that are here on stage, we're talking 20% up to nearly 50%. So that's where you want to be. The other thing that I wanted to share with you guys today is that you can grow your list with triggered campaigns. And we're going to be talking about some triggered campaigns. And there's a real opportunity to increase your email your email revenue attribution by adding triggered campaigns. And triggered campaigns should really be about a third of your email attribution. So we're going to talk about some triggered campaigns about really right after you're acquiring the email. You want to be triggering a welcome series, and that's really the kind of the first thing that we wanted to talk about here today was, and Alex, this is your welcome series right here.
So the first email of the welcome series is you're getting your 5% coupon code. And that one is a general code, but actually they're all unique, so nobody can go on some forum and post it and everyone gets to share it. And the other thing that we did was just did a little bit of branding about our company, because many times people saw us quickly on a TV show or something, but then we give them a little bit of stats, and it's our first chance to brand ourselves, to say this is who we are. And what was it, 55% open rate on this?
55% open rate on this guy.
And then the next one is our preference center. So immediately this will take them to the preference center, and we just start getting information about them. And the only thing that's required on that preference center is the email address. After that, it's voluntary, but you would be surprised at how much we start to get to know, because they actually want emails targeted to them properly because they enjoy reading them.
The welcome, as Alex said, the welcome message is really low-hanging fruit, and it's opportunity to engage with your customers really at a visceral level right off the bat. Darren, this is your welcome series here. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So this is similar to what Alex was saying. This is the triggered email campaign that gets sent out when a visitor first signs up for our list. And it's a series of emails just introducing them to who we are, key product lines, some of the key messaging, some credibility information that we put in here about the company. And it was really surprising. I remember when Ross was first talking about it when we met a couple years ago, talking about how effective these can be, and we've really found that to be the case as well. These have a open rate of 41.6%, which is our general open rate is around 10% on promotional emails. And revenue from just this series alone is 16% of all email revenue. So this is something that we went through and designed, got everything in place, a long time ago. It's just been running in the background, and last year contributed over $400,000 in sales directly to this. So there's a lot of opportunity there. This also works for we have 55 retail stores. So the same series goes out when a customer signs up for our email list in the retail store as well.
Speaking of the retail store, and it appears...
There's the retail store.
I think there's an omni-channel opportunity when you're talking, when you're engaging with your customers in store. For everybody that's got in store, what's this meant for Lovesac?
Yeah, for anybody that is a multi-channel retailer, depending on how you're set up, there might be a certain degree of channel conflict, and getting employees to collect email addresses is usually a challenge. So, once we trained our employees on how effective this could be in driving people to come back into the store after they make their initial purchase, our email sign-up rates in stores went up dramatically.
Yeah, I think, as I mentioned, your triggered programs should be about a third of your overall email program. And for a welcome series, that welcome series is usually going to drive about 25% of that one-third. So big opportunity here for anybody that's got stores, big lever to pull on. It really takes some organizational fortitude to work with your director of store operations to get the associates trained, as Darren said. But if you can, there's a great opportunity to engage from a multi-channel perspective. So as we sort of talk a little bit more about the next biggest ROI driver, we want to come into the concept of shopping cart abandonment series. So Sean, tell us about how that modal and cart abandonment can work together.
Sure. I see the pop-up modal and then the subsequent welcome series as sort of grabbing them in, setting them up so you can knock them out of the park with your shopping cart abandonment. With every click, with every modal sign up, and with every click of our welcome series, we're just adding our reachables for our shopping cart. And our shopping cart abandonment campaign is the single biggest email tactic that we use to gain revenue. A little bit about the types of things we sell. You can see just totally gorgeous bathtubs, vanities, bathtub faucets, that type of thing. This isn't something that you buy off the spur. This is a highly considered purchase, And if someone's taken 6 months to organize their bathroom, they know they want to place a large order from us, we need to do everything we can if they get to the point where they put something in the cart to make sure that they buy from us. We've nurtured them along this far through the process. And I love the Welcome series because the amount of reachables that we can get from people just clicking, and it surprises me how much they actually do click from hey, just, thanks for signing up. And then we have 2 more emails that go out, which I highly recommend a series instead of just one, just for this reason. We see people clicking and actually gaining revenue on all 3 during the series. So highly effective tactic to build our reachables for shopping cart.
I think for both you and Darren, there's an opportunity to really nurture those consumers, because there's a lot of decisions that are going into place when you're remodeling your bathroom or you're placing furniture. So ListTrack really took cart abandonment to the next level. I know you guys might be saying, hey, I thought cart abandonment was baked into Magento, and that's one of the things that we discovered when we started to really embrace the community back in 2009. We've taken cart abandonment within Magento really to the next level. And one of the big differentiators for us is that we've increased that reachable rate. So for these guys, where we found that the average cart abandonment rate for the guys on stage here ranges from, say, 70% up to 80%, and we're able to reach 35% on average of the people that abandon. So we're doing that through tying the cookie together with the modal. We're doing that with cookie tracking off of email. So we're really able to drive a big reachable pool. So let's take a look at some of the cart abandonment campaigns. Sean, this is your campaign.
Isn't it beautiful?
Yes, it is. It's a nice looking. We've got what we see on the desktop version, and then we've got a responsive version on the right-hand side.
Yeah, and that's been really great for us. 35% of our email opens, shopping cart abandonment opens, are on mobile. Which for our consumer set, which is older, is again a little bit surprising. I'm sure for a lot of you who have younger consumers, that might sound a little bit low. But our target's maybe a 55-year-old woman who's an empty nester and looking to maybe redo her master bath. So the fact that that consumer is getting this on her mobile, again for that consumer, it becomes that much more critical to make it responsive, to make the calls to action up front instead of just shrinking the regular format of the desktop. So we've seen a tremendous amount of success from this reformatting and a high level of engagement with the shopping cart abandonment campaigns by themselves. So we see about a 35% open rate on these. About a third of the folks who open actually click, which blew me away. And then once they get onto the site, it's a 25% conversion rate where they'll actually go through and, oh yeah, maybe I did forget to buy that $2,000 tub. Oh, silly me. So they actually convert. It's wild.
It is amazing to see people buy $2,000 tubs clicking off of a cart abandonment campaign. Not to mention the third cart abandonment campaign. A full week after they've abandoned, they'll click through and buy, which is really cool to see. Alex, what's cart abandonment meant at IMA?
When I discovered ListTrack last year, I went through their sales cycle, and I was telling Ross this last night, and they took a look at our Google Analytics and gave me these numbers. This is how you're going to perform. This is how you're going to do it. And remember, the salesman said, I think we're going to average about $15,000 a month for you in cart abandonment. I was like, nah, absolutely not. Thank you so much. There is no chance. We averaged 21,500, and we have since we put it in July, and we were using the default Magento cart abandonment, and this is nothing like it. And the reason is the modal. And we also we embedded a sign up in our header, so the second somebody puts their email into that modal, you have them unless they clear their cookies forever. So all we were getting with Magento was as they had to register, they had to actually get in and log in, but by that point they're your customer. I needed the guy who was there, at 9 at night looking at some antique gun, and his wife came in and he slapped his, his laptop shut. So for us with cart abandonment, we do 3. We hit the customer 3 hours after they left our site, and it's just, did you remember that you put this in your cart? Then 24 hours later, we give them a 3% off discount, and then 5 days later, we hit them with the final 3% off. It's ending now, even though we don't actually end it. They get to feel, I better do it now, and they buy it. So it has been really just nothing but found revenue for us.
Darren, we do some pretty cool stuff with yours as well.
Yeah, so I would echo everything about the power of a SEA campaign. Effectively, we're a very discount-averse company from the brand side, so we try not to give away discounts, especially if you have stores. Again, you can create channel conflict if you're giving out coupon codes to customers and then they go into a store and they already bought. But one of the cool things that we did here in ours, as you can see, is all the shopping cart abandonment emails now pull directly from our product reviews through Bazaar Voice, which has helped with the open rates and click-through rates for this series as well.
Yeah, so that was a big thing for us. Darren happens to use Bazaar Voice, but you guys know as members of the Magento community that Magento's got a really powerful ratings and reviews product baked into Magento. So we rig up to, or we integrate with both Bazaar Voice, Power Reviews, and Magento, pull down those reviews, and then we'll merchandise the top rated review next to the product that they abandoned in the cart. And on these latent campaigns, the campaigns that are sent 2 days after abandonment, 3 days after abandonment, 5 days after abandonment, that social proof is a really strong driver to get them back to the site. Prior to that, one of my kind of best practice tips for that first email is make that sucker as conversion rate optimized as possible. A couple of things that you'll see here on this one is we've got a big, return to site, big red button that says return to site, and we're taking them back to the cart. We're actually not taking them back to the product page. What we're trying to do here is to try to drive a happy path to conversion. We don't really want them to go back to the product page where they're seeing other stuff and maybe some recommended products or some cross-sells or upsells or things like that. We want them to get back to the cart, to check out and buy. That's the whole idea that we're trying to get to.
I would just add there that we've been very successful in gathering reviews on our site, and we have a product that we have to educate people about, and we do that a lot through social proof. So if somebody like My Little Pony or somebody writes a really good review, to the extent we can get that in front of other people, that helps a lot.
Yeah. So it's a kind of a sort of paying forward on that investment. So we wanted to bring cart abandonment to you guys, and we wanted to kind of bring sort of an extra bonus tip along, which is we wanted to talk about Facebook custom audiences. Anybody here using Facebook custom audiences right now? No hands. Okay, so we've got some fresh content that we're going to be presenting to you. So if you guys are like any of these guys or any of our other customers, you've been scratching your head saying, why can't I get greater revenue attribution from social media? Why is it everybody's talking about social media, but when I look in Google Analytics, social media isn't making me any money? So I'm an email guy. They've long been said that social media is going to kill email marketing, we've still been around. So I never thought that maybe I would make a slide and talk to guys like you about how guys like ListTrack or the email marketing community can help you guys make money through social media, until I discovered Facebook custom audiences. So you can see here what you can do is you can log into your Facebook ad manager, go to audiences, go to create an audience, and then what you can actually do is you can upload a list of email addresses. So Facebook will accept a list of email addresses, they'll also accept phone numbers and some other data, but you can upload email addresses. So some of these email addresses that you might upload would be people that joined the Welcome series but didn't buy, or people that bought a lot last year but haven't been back this year, or people that entered my cart abandonment series and were sort of terminated out and never bought. So there's a whole lot of opportunities that you can have to create a multi-channel campaign where you're using email as a channel and you're also using Facebook as a channel. So this is really cool. You can create an audience, and you can create several different audiences. There's no cost to you to create these audiences. There's only cost when you show ads to those audiences, right? The other really neat thing, and this really goes to kind of the growth oxygen piece, is Facebook has created a lookalike component to their custom audiences. So when you upload former buyers or best customers, it will create a lookalike audience based upon what they've liked, what they've shared, what they've commented on, things like that, and Facebook sort of learns about this over time. We've had some good success with this. I wanted to bring one case study from one of our customers from back in Pennsylvania. It's a customer called Movies Unlimited, and they sell really kind of hard-to-find cult classics. They've got this long tail is really their niche. And what we've got inside of ListTrack is this RFM grid where we've got days since last purchase plotted along the x-axis, and we've got number of purchases plotted on the y. But we wanted to target the best customers. If there's any studiers of direct marketing in the room, you'll understand this RFM grid. And we wanted to really target the best customers, multi-buyers that have bought from the Western category. And the hypothesis was, could we show these guys an ad and get them to buy via Facebook on the Facebook custom audiences? So we exported out that list out of ListTrack, because we pull all your order data down from Magento, and we pivot it so you can pull it out of ListTrack really easy. And we showed them this ad. There were no discounts or anything like that. We just showed them this ad here that ran in the feed as well as in the right rail. This is some of our stats. So we input about 4,000 email addresses. Facebook matched about 2,000. This was a low match. Matches are usually around 60, 65%, but could be higher, could be lower. We showed each person about 16 ads. We got 33 clicks. We got 14 conversions. We made $1,800 from 16 bucks. Not bad, right? Anybody want 1,800 bucks for 16 bucks, right? That's pretty good. Pretty good return on ad spend. Way better than what you're going to get from AdWords, for sure. So this is one of these kind of new technologies. There's not a lot of people doing it. You know, there's opportunity that rides on these uncertain winds. So take this idea back. We were talking to Sean a couple weeks ago about this idea. Sean said, I'm going to test that thing. Tell us about it.
Yeah, I was super excited. Our big challenge is that we need to acquire customers constantly. You know, if you think about redoing your kitchen or your bathroom, you're going to do it once. You want to do it right, you want to do it once. So once we have a sale, it might be 5, 6 years before that customer comes back and has the money for another room in their home. So it was very appealing when Ross was talking to me about this. Oh my God, this is fantastic. We segmented our email lists by number of purchases, and I highly recommend getting as much data into your email program as possible so you can do this type of really cool stuff. And then created the lookalike audiences. Facebook, you know, big data, whatever, you know, said, hey, these are really great matches for your existing customers based off the segments that you gave us. And we just put up a couple product shots that fit the creative formats. And you know, just as a quick test, we weren't expecting you know, a bonanza of revenue right away. Again, we have a long purchase cycle, but something we wanted to test, get up there and see if we could reach new people. And though we have had a few transactions come through based on the ads, I'm not even going to look at that until we're 6 months out and I have a full data set. What surprised me though is the engagement that we got. You know, we got hundreds of comments and hundreds of shares just of that little, you know, product photo that we have somewhere on our site, and we just pulled them through in there. And you know, you can read some of the comments. Love this sink. Oh my God, where do you get this? This is you know, the best thing ever, and I want it. So we ended up closed down the beta test that we did until we can get results. But right now we're looking at a 14-cent cost per action, which is either a share or a click to our website or a comment on our post. You know, when we do our regular Facebook posts, you know, if we get 3, 4 comments, you know, hey, we're having, you know, here's a new shower collection that we have. We're like, hey, we're doing great. We've never done anything that's gotten over 100 comments on it until we started this program. It's been phenomenal.